What if I told you that the most dangerous thing you can do is do nothing? No messages, no explanations, no pursuit, just complete, unshakable silence. You see, when a woman walks away, insults you, or makes you feel replaceable, it awakens something primal inside you. That pain in your chest is your pride clinging to what you thought you needed. But here's the surprise: cool men don't chase. Cool men observe. They let people show their true colors. And when someone shows you they can get rid of you, the right response isn't to run after them, but to disappear and quietly rise until it becomes an obsession for them. She's made her decision. Whether she left you for someone else, got bored, or simply thought the grass was greener elsewhere, it doesn't matter. What matters now is what you do with the void she left. Most men try to fill that void with begging, late-night messages, and long emotional vignettes that she films and shares with her friends, but not you. Not anymore. You're here because you're ready to become something she never expected. A man who doesn't look back, who doesn't react, a man who turns heartbreak into something great. When you're silent, when you stop feeding her ego, her need for validation cools down. At first she'll feel relieved, then bored, then curious, then regretful. That's the cycle. And you don't monitor her while you're busy. You're building, you're becoming. You have to understand this. Your silence isn't weakness, it's war. It forces her to confront her guilt, her decisions, and the echo of your absence. And believe me, when you stop appearing, when your name stops appearing on her screen, when you stop spinning in her world, that's when the transformation happens. Not for her, but for you. That's when you become dangerous if you're no longer a backup option, and if you're ready to let silence speak for you. Press the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. She's lost access, not value. Let's begin. Number 1, silence is a weapon, not weakness. Silence is not withdrawal or surrender, but precision. When you stop talking, tracking, and explaining, you make absence a weapon. And this silence isn't just an absence of voice, but a presence of power, because the moment you choose not to respond is the moment you stop leaking your power to someone who never earned it. Understand this. People fear silence more than they fear anger. Anger still. Reaction. And pleading is still a reaction. Even pain, when expressing it, gives her something to feed on attention. But silence is emotional hunger. And emotional hunger makes people contemplate in a way noise can't do. She was expecting a reaction. She was expecting fire, but you gave her ice. And now she's replaying the moments in her head, wondering if she overreacted. Why doesn't he call? Why doesn't he read my stories? Why did he disappear from me? This is the nature of silence. It tips the scales without saying a word. It turns the narrative upside down. And now she doubts her worth. And you don't disappear to hurt her. You disappear from the version of you that she needed. You finished negotiating your worth in conversations where she came only to take. You stopped being available. You stopped being predictable. And when you become unpredictable, you become unforgettable. The man of the corridor doesn't seek confirmation. He doesn't hand over his emotional keys to someone who slammed the door in his face. He doesn't chase, he observes. And in that observation, he decides. Here, leave the table isn't angry, but because it refuses to beg for a girl while it's the feast. Silence isn't weakness. Weakness is trying to explain your worth to someone committed to not understanding it. Weakness is speaking just to be heard, while silence makes her listen. Silence makes her feel. And one day, when her vanity begins to subside and reflects back on itself, she'll remember that the greatest thing you said was nothing at all. Number 2, don't chase her. Let her sit with the mess she created. She left, she played games, she showed you disrespect, and your first reaction was to chase her. Fix things. Prove you deserve to stay. That's what you were trained to do. But chasing her only reinforces her delusion of power. It tells her she can hurt you and leave, and you'll keep crawling after her. No, that ends now. You don't chase after someone who starts a fire and expects you to clean up the ashes. Let them sit in the mess they created. If she breaks your trust, betrays your loyalty, or takes you for granted, the last thing you should do is run after her. Why? Because people don't learn from comfort. They learn from consequences, and your absence is the consequence. You're not rescuing her from the emptiness she created. You're not offering her closure, not validating her behavior. By making yourself emotionally available, you give her space, and in that space, you force her to confront herself. When you pursue her, you protect her from the impact of her decisions. You become her emotional safety net. But when you withdraw, when you leave the scene coldly and calmly, you make her feel the full weight of her choices. And here, the truth enters. Here, illusions shatter. When silence becomes suffocating, guilt creeps in, and she begins to wonder, have I lost something irreplaceable? You're not just teaching her a lesson. You're reclaiming your identity. You're not a therapy center for attention seekers and the broken. You're not a repair project. You're a man with standards. And the moment you cross them, you lost the privilege of your presence. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You're not punishing her, you're prioritizing yourself. And this is the truth most men don't realize. Your separation is the mirror that reflects its own harm. If you can't sit with the silence, that's not your problem. If you start to regret going around in circles or trying to communicate, that's the pain you're talking to. You just stay still. You stay silent. Let it sit in the chaos it unleashed itself. Herein lies lesson number 3. Pain is the catalyst, not the curse. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the fuel. It's the alarm clock that wakes you from the dream. A broken heart, betrayal, silence from someone who used to light up your phone. Yes, it's burning, but this burning is a crucible. Either you let it melt you, or you use it to rebuild into something stronger than you ever imagined. Most men try to appreciate pain. They drink it to escape. They pass it by with a touch. They occupy themselves with temporary bodies and superficial pleasures. But the man of the gallery doesn't run from it. He sits in it, studies it, sharpens its edges with it, because pain, that deep pain that wounds the heart, is the ultimate teacher. It reveals what you ignored. It exposes to whom you gave a large part of yourself, and when you feel it fully, you won't give that kind of thing. From reaching someone who doesn't deserve it. Again, this is the turning point. Here you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this trying to build inside me? Stoicism isn't pretending you're okay, but realizing that nothing external, not her love, not her affirmations, not her attention, can determine your inner state. Pain doesn't break a man's stoicism, it reveals it, pushes him into the fire to emerge melted, not shattered. She thought you would collapse. Perhaps she did, briefly, but now you rise clearly. Every time your chest tightens at the mention of her name, that's fuel. Every time you remember the lie she told with a smile, that's fire and direction. This isn't for revenge or anger, but for mental, emotional, and physical perfection. This is your season of building, quietly, brutally, and purposefully. Don't waste your pain trying to be who you were before. That man was blind to the red flags. You are not that man anymore. You are becoming someone even your past self won't recognize, not despite the pain, but because of the number 4. Control your emotions or be their slave. Emotions are not the enemy, but when she controls you, she owns you. And that's exactly what she expected, for you to crumble and explode in a miserable mix of anger and despair. Because the moment you react emotionally, she wins. She says, look, he's weak, unstable. He needs me more than I needed him. No, you won't give her that feeling. A cool guy doesn't deny his emotions. He controls them. You might feel anger, confusion, heartbreak, but you don't let them spill out where they can be used against you. You control them like a weapon, keeping them submerged, because the moment you send that long message or appear online trying to get her attention, handing over the paper, you stop being mysterious and start being predictable. You become just another guy trying to prove he's still worthy. Understand this, emotional control isn't about being numb, it's about being precise. Don't react, respond logically, calmly, with self-control. Don't tremble when she tests you, and don't crumble when you see her with someone new. Stay strong, because nothing demonstrates strength like a man who isn't shaken by chaos. She wants to believe you're emotionally devastated, to keep tabs on her stories, to talk about her with your friends, to still care. But when she cools down and moves on without admitting it, that's when her ego starts to crack. She realizes she's no longer on your mind, no longer important. And that's precisely emotional warfare at its most intense. You can't control what you do, but you can control how you react. This is your battleground, not her private messages, not the new man, but your own mind. And if you lose there, you lose everywhere. Number 5, emotional detachment makes you dangerous. The moment you break up, you become a threat, not because you're trying to hurt her, but because you finally stop needing her. You've disconnected your self-esteem from her attention. You've shut off the emotional ATM that dispensed love, appreciation, and forgiveness unconditionally. And when that happens, you become unpredictable. And nothing is more dangerous than a man who no longer reacts, no longer pursues, no longer cares. Breakup isn't bitterness, it's clarity. It's the realization that no amount of effort will change someone determined to ignore you. Your value lies in accepting that not every relationship is meant to last, and most exist to teach you. What this relationship taught you is how easily people abandon those they never appreciated. You assumed you'd always be there, that you'd remain in its orbit like a lost moon, but you cut the cord and set off into your own galaxy. When you could no longer predict your steps, she began to observe you more closely, to scrutinize your silence, to review your actions, to see who you're doing, how you smile without her. And that gnaws at her from within, because the version of herself that haunted her is dead. In her place stands a man who doesn't beg, doesn't explain, doesn't wait. This is separation, not coldness. This is control, not emotional freezing. This is elevation. You feel everything, but nothing controls you. From this state, you become immune to manipulation. She can't make you feel guilty. She can't provoke you. She can't repeat the same ballet games that used to work. You've risen to a level she can no longer reach, and this is the transformation. It forces her to look at herself, and perhaps for the first time. And here's the irony. When she returns, it won't be because you chased her, but because you didn't. Because you let her go without flinching, because you became untouchable. This is the kind of silence that haunts the number 6. Her guilt will come, but only if you remain hidden. This is the harsh truth. Guilt doesn't appear immediately. At first, she feels free, comfortable, powerful. She might post pictures with a fake smile, trying to prove she's thriving without you. But don't let that fool you. Guilt is slow. It creeps in when silence lingers, when attention falters, when her ego's fuel runs dry. And guilt only comes if you remain absent. The moment you break the silence, you delay the lesson. The moment you connect, even just to talk, you relieve the pressure of her choices, of the void you left behind, and that void is the punishment. If you return too quickly, you deprive her of the moment to realize what she truly lost. Don't do that. Don't interrupt the storm you caused. Let it rain. She needs to feel your absence, not just for a day or a week, but for a sufficient amount of time, enough for peace to turn into unease, then regret. Only then will guilt creep in, and when it happens, it won't be gentle. It will strike her in a quiet moment when no one is watching, when her phone lights up, but not with your name, when she remembers your gaze, your support, your belief in her. And now you're gone, not angry, not bitter, just gone. Then the blow will be different because you didn't fill her phone with messages, you didn't beg, you didn't chase after her, but you disappeared with your dignity intact. And the longer you're gone, the more empty she becomes, and the more questions she has. Has he forgotten me? Is he with someone else? Did I misjudge him? This is guilt. This is what replaces pride when it respects silence. Don't break the silence to close the file. Your silence is the closure. Don't check on her. Don't monitor her pages to ask mutual friends. Let her feel the weight of silence as if it were a burden on her chest. This is how you win without saying a word. 1. Number 7, attention is the currency. Make her hungry. Your attention is the currency, and she was spending it as if it were free. Every view, every like, every message, every time you follow her story, you're paying her, not in dollars, but with recognition and appreciation. And guess what? She knows that. She craves it and feeds on it. As long as you keep watching, responding, and interacting, she's still in control. She feels desired without earning it, desired without deserving it, and that ends now. You have to understand the market you're in today's world. Attention is power, and when you give it away freely, you become nothing in her eyes. Why value what's always available? Why chase a man who can stop orbiting her? You don't chase what's plentiful, you chase what's rare. And when you fall silent and withdraw your attention, you transform from ordinary to precious, from desperate to desirable. And here's the surprise. She might pretend not to notice, but she does. She sees when you stop following, she senses when your energy fades. This silence creates scarcity, and scarcity creates curiosity, and curiosity attracts more than any message you could send. You're no longer feeding her ego. You've cut off the supply. Now she has to sit down with the question, why did you stop paying attention? She might try to lure you back, a post that stirs thirst, a cryptic quote, a story designed to bring your eyes back to her. Don't fall into the trap. This is her attempt to re-enter your mind. Close the doors. Stay focused on yourself because every time you resist, the desire to verify her increases your worth. You stop being a follower in her story and begin to become an enigma in her mind. Make her starve for the one thing she always thought was hers: your eyes, your energy, your appreciation. Let her learn the price of losing access to a man who once gave so generously and now gives nothing. Number 8, await the silence of success. Revenge is the answer. Do you want revenge? Don't text her. Don't post indirect quotes. Don't beg her to see your worth. Just rise above it and do it in complete silence. No ads, no warnings, just a quiet transformation. Because what hurts the most to those who belittle you is to see you become everything they never believed you could be without them. The truth is, a broken heart is fuel. While she tries to replace the attention you so easily gave, you're in the dark building something you'll never be a part of again. A better body, a stronger mind, focused effort. Don't get revenge by proving her wrong. Get revenge by proving you right. Proving you were always the prize. You weren't. You need her approval. And her absence opens the door for your growth. The beauty of rising in silence is that she won't know how to handle it. She'll check your page and find nothing. She'll ask and hear that you're moving forward. She'll sense the transformation, but she won't see its steps. This ambiguity is the torment because she's now out there, watching from afar. She's no longer part of your story. She's just a chapter you stopped reading. Again, every hour you wasted on her, you now invest in yourself. The gym becomes therapy, hard work becomes focus, silence becomes strength. You become the man she thought she could leave behind, and now she can't stop thinking about what she lost. But you don't post about it. You don't show off for her. You let the results speak loudly and mercilessly. And when she finally realizes she's undervalued you, when she sees you shining, growing, flourishing without her, that's the moment you triumph. Not because she saw, but because you no longer care if she sees or not. Number 9, don't block her. Let her witness your victory. Blocking her might give you a temporary peace, but leave the door slightly ajar so she can watch you win. This is a psychological war. Don't attend it. Let her stay in the stands while you build an empire she can't enter. She's no longer part of your life, but she's still front and center. Every silent victory, every mysterious move eats her up inside because what you're really doing is allowing her to face the reality that you haven't just survived without her, but have evolved into a version of yourself she no longer recognizes. She sees your glow, your growth, your quiet detachment, but she doesn't get to be a part of it. This is the price of playing with a man who was real from the start. Understanding the ban would have made her slip away too easily. It would have allowed her to imagine you were gone or that you still cared. But leaving this digital door slightly ajar, no interaction, no feelings, just stillness, forces her to face the silence every time she checks. No replies, no interactions, just you thriving. This isn't pettiness. It's poetic justice because she'll browse and see you at your best. From where you were, surrounded by people who respect you, you'll see that her absence didn't destroy your life, but liberated you. And what's most terrifying is that you didn't say a single word. That mystery, that silence is your strength. Let her wonder, let her scrutinize, let her realize, too late, that the man who used to make time for her is now the man she can no longer reach. And remember, this isn't about hurting her, but about showing yourself that you don't need to erase someone to get over them. You're not resentful, you're focused. You're untouchable now, and that's exactly what you didn't see coming.